What's up, guys? Doug here from Gen X Vintage. Today, I'm going to be reviewing a Pro Wrestling Illustrated from August of 1980. And as you can see, Bruno is trying to kill Larry Zbyszko there, choking the life out of him. And on the back, the Terrible Russians, Smirnoff and Ivan Koloff. I don't remember the Smirnoff cat. Wonder who that was. Might have to look him up. All right, guys, let's get into it. First, we got our muscle building and small engine repair. All right, King's Court. Current U.S. champion, Mid-Atlantic. Current U.S. champion, Jimmy Snuka, has shown complete disregard for all the rules. His cheating and cruelty have caused at least 6 scientific stars to leave the area. Wow. Snuka and his manager, Gene Anderson, hope for the day when there were no fan favorites left in the Mid-Atlantic. Then Snuka will be champion for life, Anderson claims. WWF. Despite all of his claims to the contrary, Bob Backlund is not ducking Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is ducking Bob Backlund. That's right, the contender refuses to wrestle the champion. This is all part of Hogan and manager Freddie Blassie's campaign of psychological terror against Backlund. As one veteran observer said, Backlund is ready to break. Fans think he's afraid of Hogan, and he can't get a match against him to prove everyone wrong. Some are afraid Backlund is on the verge of resigning as WWF champion. AWA. In this area, it is the champion who is doing the most harm. Nick Bockwinkel has told Bobby Heenan not to sign any matches for him against undefeated contenders. I'm not going to go into that one. That one doesn't excite me too much. Georgia. In his short stay in Georgia, Austin Idol has created more havoc than any wrestler in the area's history. I loved Austin Idol. Because of him, title shots have been lost and men have been crippled. Pro Wrestling Illustrated is checking out a story that Idol is paid $10,000 a week by Harley Race to continue being an evil force in Georgia. We hope to bring you the results of our investigation in a future issue of PWI. Can't wait to find out what they found out. Florida. Manager Sir Oliver Humperdinck recently told me, by the end of this year, one way or another, Dusty Rhodes and Jack Briscoe will be out of wrestling. I don't know what Humperdinck is planning, but I doubt it's something legal. I agree. Oh, here's a story on a wrestler who I've met many times, who's actually stayed at my home on 2 different occasions, has come in and done autographs for me at stores I've had in the past. The handsome one himself, Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant. And here, he was still the handsome one. He hadn't become the Boogie Woogie Man. It's just basically, the writer, Steve Farhood, spent the day with Boogie, of all places, Louisville, Kentucky, at Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Derby. The next one, Dressing Room Confidential by Stu Sachs. Ernie Ladd is in court for his right thumb. Here in the picture, it's taped up. And Pro Wrestling Illustrated, at great expense, hired 5 cameramen in different parts of the country to videotape Ladd's matches. The results were predictable. In all 4 matches against Dusty Rhodes, Manny Fernandez, Andre the Giant, and Jerry Oates, the film proved conclusively that Ladd used the bandaged thumb to his advantage. Doesn't surprise me. Anytime you see a bandaged thumb, you might as well know they're going to use it. On this page is self-defense. People needed more self-defense back in the 1980s, I guess. This page, woo, the Nature Boy, ringside with Bill Apter. And it's talking about Ric Flair is so angry he is threatening to sue the NWA. I beat Snuka for the United States Championship, explains Flair, and the NWA refuses to turn the belt over to me. What Flair failed to point out in his anger is that the man who counted Snuka's shoulders onto the mat was not the official referee. The referee was knocked out, and another official wrestler referee, Johnny Weaver, counted Snuka's shoulders out. So it seems the NWA may rule against Flair no matter how long Snuka's shoulders were down for. Now that Austin Idol is in charge of the Georgia Heavyweight Championship, he contends that flunkies like Tommy Rich, Wrestling 2, Ole Anderson never get a chance to grapple for the belt. I refuse to waste my time wrestling unranked nobodies. I don't blame you. Between Falls. Good looking shot of Steamboat. This is responding to Brock from, well, he wrote a lot, Tom Dale in Buena Vista, Virginia. After reading the May 1980 issue, I feel obligated to respond to several statements made by Matt Brock in his Looking at Ric Flair. In this article, Mr. Brock speaks of Rick Steamboat growing morose, brooding, and glum as a result of his friendship with Flair. Blah, blah, blah. Race is the Greatest by Carl Smith, Missouri. In your May 1980 issue, you ask if Harley Race should be stripped of his title. My answer is no. Harley Race is the greatest champion the NWA ever had. To watch him in action is seeing wrestling at its very best. Happy for Rick. I'm not for sure who this one's from, but it's talking about being happy for Ricky Steamboat. Probably the greatest babyface of all time. Then we have where you can order magazines, back issues. Off the Rope. An article about Rick Steamboat battling Paul Jones. A lot of people forget Paul Jones was a wrestler before he was the manager in the NWA. Had a feud with Boogie. Looking at Matt Brock, Lou Albano. Everybody's familiar with Big Lou. There he is managing the Valiants, but if you'll notice, that's not Jimmy Valiant. That's John and, what was the other guy's name? I don't remember the other guy's name. Doesn't matter. More magazines you can order. Could order. Next one, if you really love Ric Flair, hate him. Here he is fighting Jack Briscoe. Some men thrive on affection, others on challenges. In Ric Flair's case, the sound of loud, sustained boos invests him with extraordinary motivation. While his foes have changed and fans have grown, Flair remains essentially the same. Cheers don't seem to have the same profound effects boos do. So, as we all know, Nate loves being the bad guy. This here is really cool because we can see a couple of young guys here. The Morgenstein Report. Look at Don Morocco. Look how young. You know who that is? Eddie Gilbert. Look how young. Just talking about Morocco being the new Florida champ. Gilbert may be going to Georgia. Has Austin Idol destroyed the legend of Wrestling 2? This is when Austin Idol had Wrestling 2 in a figure 4 and hurt him real bad. Tommy Rich was hurt, broke leg or something, and Tommy come in to save Wrestling 2, and then looks like Baron Von Raschke come in, and Tommy fought him off with the crutch. Press conference with Hulk Hogan. Look at the Hulkster. They're interviewing him here, talking about Putski and Backlund. I knew it. Bruno admits, I tried to kill Sabisco. I knew he did. You can tell by that picture, look. He's trying to kill him. Zbyszko was Bruno's student, if I recall correctly. And Zbyszko turned on him. Dirty son of a... Wrestling Inquirer. Rich, healthy, and he vows revenge. He's getting ready to go after somebody. Ooh, somebody said something about getting fired up. Mysterious Mr. Florida baffles Sunshine State fans. I don't know who that was. Then we got Heenan claims interest in Greg Gagne. Heenan. So Bobby Heenan was apparently wanting to manage Gagne at one time. Von Erich Blitzkrieg. How appropriate since the new movie come out. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm definitely going to. I can't wait. I hope the acting's good in it. The guys look goofy in my opinion, but hopefully, I don't know. I'm going to see it. But that's Kevin. Has Harley in a headlock, getting ready to put the claw on him. And this is basically how the different brothers, the three brothers, are sharing knowledge on how to beat Harley Race, and one of them is hopefully going to beat him. Did Dusty Rhodes betray Andre the Giant? Brother, if you betrayed Andre, you got some serious problems. Nobody could beat the boss if he didn't want to be beat. Basically saying that Dusty was afraid of Terry Funk. Wouldn't tag in. Dusty said, "Are you kidding me?" Another article on Steamboat. Steamboat and Youngblood, the last hope to stop the Samoans. I always like the Samoans. Look at that picture. What they are saying. We got Larry Zbyszko, Bruiser Brody, Victor Riviera, and Super Destroyer. This is Zbyszko. What I'm saying is Bruno Sammartino doesn't deserve the title of living legend. He tries to choke me, tried to kill him, I told you. Uses every dirty trick in the book, and then he says, I started it. Bruno can't make the moves anymore. Slow down, up, old and ugly. All he has left is a career as a rule breaker. What a shame. Then the Bruiser. Any loony comes into Texas and wants some trouble knows he's got to go through me first. And that ain't easy. I take no prisoners. I wrestle for sheer pleasure of whooping some big-mouth loony on the side of his head and throwing him the hell out of the ring. That's my oxygen. Victor Riviera. I don't know this cat. Can't depend on partners. I go into the ring, put my neck on the block, get my head banged around, and get my opponent in a weak position. All my partner has to do is walk right in, bam, bam, pow, and it's over. If you guys can do that, got to depend on yourself for anything. Want a good job? Do the job yourself. Super Destroyer. Who's the Super Destroyer? Put that in the comments. I'm not going to look it up. Let me know. What's all the guff about a mask? Don't mean nothing. A man's a man, whether he wears a mask or not. What matters is how you do between the four ropes, Buster. You could paint your head purple and wear a feather. Don't matter if you ain't got the talent. I'd take off my mask if I thought it mattered. It don't matter. Continued. We got Dick the Bruiser, Wrestling 2, Tito Santana, and Bugsy McGraw. Bruiser, Dick the Bruiser. Give me a six-pack, a country tune, and a brawl, and I'm like a pig in a mud bath. These fancy Dans with their paraquat, something other, I don't know what that means, and flying crap, who needs that garbage? Boy, he'd really love today's wrestling, wouldn't he? Wrestling ain't changed since the first time one dude kicked another. You get in there, beat the other guy's brains into fudge, and that's the end. Wrestling 2. I'm a nice guy. Like to socialize down at my local lodge, toss the old bowling ball down the lanes. Heck, I even enjoy a good bus ride now and then. But listen, pal, watch out if you cross me. It's to the moon with the likes of Austin Idol, so he better read this and watch his step. He sounds serious. Tito Santana. I really wish people would stop asking when Ivan Putski and me are going to disband our tag team. We're champions, or doesn't anyone care? We might be the most unnoticed champions in the history of wrestling. I'd like my fans to tell the press to lay off us and let me and Ivan do what we do best, winning matches. Arriba! Bugsy McGraw. I stood poised at the gates of hell, cosmic wind swirling around me and threatening to carry me into the black-red pit of despair. What could I do? Where would I go? Did I have the strength to carry on? Go forward, I told myself. Get off the canvas and defeat and win this victory. I did. He didn't tell who he beat, though. Another great picture of Handsome. All right, my favorite part. The ratings. World Wrestling Federation. Number 10, Bobby Duncan. Number 9, Tito Santana. 8, Afa. 7, Tony Atlas. 6, Pat Patterson. 5, Ivan Putski. 4, Larry Zbyszko. 3, Ken Patera. 2, Hulk Hogan. And 1, Bob Backlund, the champion. The NWA. Coming in at number 10, Mills Mascaris. Number 9, Leroy Brown. 8, Jim Brunzell. 7, Kevin Von Erich. 6, Austin Idol. 5, Don Morocco. 4, Mr. Wrestling 2. 3, Dusty Rhodes. 2, Jimmy Snuka. 1, Harley Race, the champion. The AWA, American Wrestling Association. Number 10, Jerry Blackwell. 9, Jerry Lawler. 8, Jesse Ventura. 7, Mad Dog Vachon. 6, Greg Gagne. 5, Billy Robinson. 4, Vern Gagne. 3, Crusher. 2, Dino Bravo. And the champion, number 1, Nick Bockwinkel. Tag teams. Number 10, Tommy and Eddie Gilbert. Number 9, Ivan Koloff and Alexa Smirnoff. 8, Mr. Hito and Mr. Sakitaru. Butchered that. 7, The Masked Superstars. 6, Jack Briscoe and Jimmy Garvin. 5, Kevin Sullivan and Tony Atlas. 4, Ivan Putski and Tito Santana. 3, Vern Gagne and Mad Dog Vachon. 2, The Samoans. 1, Greg Valentine and Ray Stevens. Most hated. Number 10, Eddie Mansfield. Ain't he the cat that went on to expose the business later on? I think he is. He was hated all the way back in 1980, if it was him. Number 9, Masked Superstar. 8, Nick Bockwinkel. 7, Hulk Hogan. 6, Harley Race. 5, Ivan Koloff. 4, Terry Funk. 3, Austin Idol. 2, Jimmy Snuka. 1, Larry Zbyszko. Now the most popular. Number 10, Eddie Gilbert. 9, Kevin Von Erich. 8, Dino Bravo. 7, Wahoo McDaniel. 6, Rick Steamboat. 5, Bob Backlund. 4, Mr. Wrestling 2. 3, Dusty Rhodes. 2, Bruno Sammartino. Number 1, Andre the Giant. All right, guys. This is Pro Wrestling Illustrated, August 1980. Thanks for watching.